Players have to rely on a healer to top them off to survive, similar to Dark Knight. What? What? But you just said, as they no longer die if they're not topped off. And then you say, players have to rely on a healer to top them off, similar to Dark Knight. Was this shit even proofread? Listen up, this is React time. We're reacting. Okay, this is the best tank tier list in Final Fantasy XIV. Some jobs are more suited to be main tanks while others are off tanks. While some multiplayer game features metas that heavily favor certain jobs over others, Final Fantasy XIV's is generally well balanced. Every job is viable in one way or another. Okay, that's true, it's true. But they still feature different strengths and weaknesses. In the MMO, there are 2 tanks in raid and trials. 1 main tank, 1 off tank. Okay, I don't, yeah, maybe. I kind of disagree with this, but you know what? Doesn't matter. That's just me nitpicking. Okay. While the main tank takes most of the boss damage by activating its stance and increasing enmity, the off tank only provokes the boss for a short amount of time due to tank busters or when the main tank dies. Due to what they can offer, all jobs are more suited for one specialty than the other. As for dungeons, every job is equally viable, especially since trash mobs receive a heavy nerf alongside Endwalker release in December 2021. Did they? Oh, wow. Maybe they mean the number squish. Yeah. That's not a nerf, though. I don't really remember a nerf, but whatever. If you don't know which tank job to choose from the 4 choices available, here are the best tank jobs ranked from best to worst in Final Fantasy XIV. All right, now before we look, what do you guys think is going to be the best and what do you guys think is going to be the worst? I think they're going to say Dark Knight is the best because it got buffs. I don't know what they're going to say about the other stuff. Oh, no, that's true. They're going to say Warrior is the best because it could solo. No, that's true. I kind of forgot about that too. So they're going to say Dark Knight's the best because it got buffs. Warrior's the best because it can solo. I could see them going one of 2 ways. Either saying Paladin is also super good because it got buffs or that it's bad and needed buffs. I guess Gunbreaker got buffed too. Holy fuck, man. So like all of them. Okay. Woo! Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, I agree with this. Oh, S tier. Warrior. Okay, all right. I like where this is going. This so far is a damn good tier list, okay? The Warrior is a base job in Final Fantasy XIV. Starting as Marauder at level 1 and Uldad consists of learning to take control of their wrath and unleash it on their enemies using their axe at full strength and the inner release ability. This is a buff that grants several beast gauge actions, a gauge that fills by using abilities on enemies and grants powerful damage abilities. Wait, this is a buff that grants several beast gauge actions. It just gives you primal rend. And what? Whoa, wait a minute. Wait, Ulda, it's Limsa. Gladiator starts in Ulda, right? This is a buff that grants several beast gauge actions, a gauge that fills by using abilities on enemies that grants powerful damaging abilities. Okay, well, I think that inner release only gives you 1. It just gives you primal rend. The Warrior is a straightforward job in general. It's the purest form of tank available in the game, and it's beginner friendly. I wish that they would have said, like kind of went a little more in depth. What do they mean by purest form of tank? Its rotation isn't as fast as the Paladins. What? Its rotation isn't as fast as the Paladins and Gunbreakers, while its abilities are more straightforward than the Dark Knights. Which makes it ideal for all kinds of players who want to get into tanking. Whether they're beginners on the game or on this category of jobs, it also boosts impressive survivability due to its lifesteal and healing abilities. Okay, now, all right, hold on. Now, this is accurate, but its rotation isn't as fast as the Paladins and Gunbreakers. Okay, well, Paladins have 1 extra off GCD. Paladin and Warrior are pretty much the same speed. Actually, Paladin might be a teeny teeny smidge slower because its casts are 2.5. Paladin has Circle of Scorn and it has Expatian. The word fast here is not accurate. Okay, where its abilities are more straightforward than the Dark Knight's. I think Dark Knight is pretty straightforward. Maybe they mean like because you have to manage 2 gauges? So pretty much the only thing that is good is it also boasts impressive survivability due to its lifesteal and healing actions. The job meta in 6.05. The warrior is the clear winner from Endwalker's balance changes and new abilities brought to the game in December 2021. It gained more heal, which drastically helps its survivability in combat and several AoE damaging abilities. The tank job is now omnipresent in the game's level 90 activities and is considered one of the most optimized jobs in the meta for the main tank role. Okay, I think that this author is trying to say as Endwalker as a whole, not just the 0.05 meta. When this person says it gained more heal and several AoE damaging abilities, I think they mean in the expansion, because as far as 6.0 to 6.5, they didn't get fucking anything. And if that's the case, then yes, they definitely gained more healing, but several AoE damaging abilities, they just got 2. They got Orogeny and Primal Rend. So the word several here is a bit misleading, but they did get a couple. And it's considered one of the most optimized jobs in the meta for the main tank role. If there's a warrior in the group, they should be tanking. Yeah. I mean, there is some truth in here. Level 1 in Old Dod, dude. What the fuck? So warrior's a straightforward job in general. That's true. It's beginner friendly. That's true. All of this is just, I have no idea what any of this means. And the last bit of this is true. It gained more heal. True. Several AoE damage. It gained a couple. This was worded horrendously, but it's not too far off. All right, so Dark Knight. Oh, hell yeah, dude. The Dark Knight embraces the dark side to harness its power, which manifests through an avatar with living shadow. It was released alongside the expansion Heaven's Ward and is locked to level 30, which is now included in the free trial. The job features one of the best quest lines written by narrative designer Natsuko Ishikawa, also involved in Endwalker's main scenario. Beyond that, it's not hard to pick up, but it is challenging to master, which can allow it to suit every kind of player. It also has all the tools a team could dream of in its kit. One of the most crucial abilities is the Blackest Night, unlocked at level 70. It grants them or an ally a shield that offers a damage buff if it's entirely absorbed before ending after 7 seconds. Okay, this is a bit misleading. It's not a damage buff. Anyway, this must be mastered to maximize the job's true potential. That's true. Which also means having good mana management due to its 3,000 points at a cost. Okay, I mean, okay, that's true. The job meta in 6.11. Why the fuck is it 6.05 here, but then 6.11 here? The Dark Knight hasn't been particularly favored by Endwalker's balance changes, but it remains viable in all kinds of content on 14 and gains more damage after level 90. After level 90? What's the max level? It's 90. What are you talking about? Did I read that wrong? When mastered, they can even top some DPS and damage. Okay, now again, this is a bit misleading. In the opener. Okay. Patch 6.11 gave the Dark Knight an improved Living Dead the job's invulnerability skill as they no longer die if they're not topped off. Ooh. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Ooh, that's misleading. If you use Living Dead and you can't hit the boss for 4 GCDs and you don't get any healing, you are dead. You are DE dead. You are in the grave. This is where your ass is gonna be. You're gonna be in the grave. In the grave, brother. That's where your ass is gonna be. Your ass is grass. I wouldn't say this either. It has all the tools a tank could dream of in its kit. I mean, I wouldn't say this because what if you try to do Uwu or Yukab? You don't have your fucking raid buff. I mean, granted, you probably don't need it, but I just feel like this is a bit of an exaggeration. A lot of this is worded pretty poorly. The Dark Knight hasn't been particularly favored by Endwalker's balance changes. Okay, I wish that they would have gone a little bit deeper into that. Gains more damage after level 90. This is kind of worded weird. Again, I don't mean to nitpick, nitpick, but you know, like if I was reading this and I wasn't familiar with the game, I would think that the max level is 100. This is just flat out wrong. Improve Living Dead, well, okay, improving Living Dead is right, but as they no longer die if they're not topped off. This is just incorrect. I don't know, man. Some of it's true, but most of it's worded fucking... All right, anyway, Gunbreaker. Gunbreaker's A tier. The Gunbreaker is the most aggressive tank in 14. This is the second fucking person. This is the second article. They said the same thing in the last article. Why is the Gunbreaker the most aggressive tank? Like, why? Like, what? Like, what does this mean? And what does it take to be an aggressive tank? I don't understand. It wields a gun blade and fills a powder gauge to unlock powerful damaging combos that mix off cooldown and on cooldown abilities. Its damage rotation is quite fast, and it can be more challenging to pick up than the other tank jobs. Additionally, it's unlocked directly at level 60, so you have many abilities to learn at once. Okay, so this is true. Its damage rotation is quite fast, and it can be more challenging. This can be true. Unlock powerful damaging combos, talking about the ammo combo, mix off cooldown. Okay, they need to add the word global in here because off cooldown and on cooldown abilities, this is just wrong. I mean, it's just really obvious this person just doesn't play the game. It's fine. But yeah, they need to add the word global in here. To match its fast damage combo that starts with continuation. I mean, it doesn't start like, look, I'm not trying to nitpick here, man. But this shit is just wrong. It's just wrong. You don't start with continuation. You start with Gnashing Fang. But anyway, the Gunbreaker boasts a 20% damage boost with no mercy and several traditional mitigation skills. It also provides some utility with Aurora, which applies a regeneration effect to a target. Okay, that's true. Aurora, okay. The job's invulnerability, Super Bowlight, can be scary to activate because it instantly reduces its HP to 1. While rendering it impervious to most attacks. Players have to rely on a healer to top them off to survive, similar to Dark Knight. What? But you just said, as they no longer die if they're not topped off. And then you say, players have to rely on a healer to top them off, similar to Dark Knight. Was this shit even proofread? I feel like this was written by more than one person. A Gunbreaker remains viable at every level and is among the most played tank jobs and high-end duties, such as Asphodelos Savage Raids, even though the potency of several abilities received a nerf alongside Endwalker's release, according to FF. What? We'll get to that in a second. It has everything to offer, provided the player successfully learn to master its rotation and the balance between dealing high damage and protecting its allies. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Okay, even though the potency of several abilities received a nerf alongside the Endwalker's release, dude, it just, to this day, man, it's still, I'm going to imagine that what they're referring to here is the stat squish. I cannot understand why people think that a stat squish results in a nerf. Do people not understand that if you take all of the numbers and even though you put them lower, the strength of an ability, it's relevant to all the other abilities, right? So if you nerf everything evenly, then it's not a nerf. Yoshi talked about this for like 2 hours. I'm not even kidding. He spent like 2 fucking hours talking about this shit. You guys have to understand they don't want fucking WoW numbers where you're doing 10 million damage because that shit is fucking stupid. All it does is take up space. There's no difference between doing 10 million damage and 10,000 damage besides the number of fucking zeros, okay? They have to do a reset on the numbers. That doesn't mean that things are nerfed. That doesn't mean that things are buffed. Okay, anyway, moving on. It has everything to offer, provided the player successfully learn to master its rotation and the balance between dealing high damage and protecting its allies. I think that this is true to a certain extent. And the reason why I think that is because, like, when you're having to spam double weave damaging off GCDs and not being able to hit defensive cooldowns, it can get a bit much. All right, B, Paladin. You think Paladin's really a B? Dude, I'd probably put Paladin at like a C, man. Nah, I'm just joking. I think Paladin Paladin at worst is a B. Here's the unfortunate thing, man. On paper, Paladin looks like it would be a lot better than it is. Let's look at Paladin's advantages, right? Paladin is obviously the best utility tank, right? It has clemency. It has, you know, cover, even though for the most part cover's a meme now. It has the ability to attack from a range, and it also has an extra raid buff. Like wings is no joke. But here's the thing. That extra raid buff doesn't matter. All of the tanks and all of the healers are so powerful. Everybody has something. You never run out of shit. So its extra utility doesn't mean anything. Its next thing, it can attack from a range. When was the last time that you were forced away from the boss for more than one GCD? Never. I know you didn't last raid tier. I know you didn't last expansion. Never. So the fact that it can attack from range doesn't even matter because they don't design fights like that. The fact that a paladin can heal kind of doesn't matter. A Gunbreaker, all jokes aside, Aurora is pretty decent, but Heart of Corundum is fucking baller. Heart of Corundum is one of the strongest tank abilities in the fucking game. It is absolutely absurd. It is so good. Now, I know that clemency is extra. If you're going to do a correct comparison, you need to compare it to intervention, which Flash and Heart of Corundum completely shit on intervention. But going back to the extra stuff, clemency is not free. It costs you GCDs. Can you intervention and then clemency? I mean, fuck, man, at that point, just cover the DPS. Dude, don't heal them, just cover them. Fuck that. This is more of a personal thing to me, but I personally think that Paladin's rotation is actually the hardest. I think that it's slightly harder to optimize on Paladin than it is with the other tanking jobs. I'm not saying it's extremely difficult. I'm not saying it's hard. I'm saying it's just harder. I think all of the tanks are pretty easy. They're pretty straightforward. It's just Paladin has like maybe one extra layer to think about. All right, back on track. The Paladin is a traditional job in fantasy games, and 14 is no exception. Its base job... They fucking got it backwards, dude. Its base job and starts at level 1 in Limsa. As Gladiator, wielding a shield and sword, the Paladin boasts numerous strengths and a unique playstyle in the tanking department. It provides the most utility compared to other tank jobs. Okay, no, that's true, it's true. Although it's not as extensive as its iteration in World of Warcraft. I never played WoW or anything, so I can't speak on that. The Paladin boasts off cooldown damage abilities and numerous mitigating skills. It can also heal itself or its allies using clemency, which makes it a unique tank in the game. If one healer is down and the other is busy resurrecting in a raid or trial, the Paladin can save the day with this ability. Okay, that's true to a certain extent. It can also take all damage from an ally with cover and protect an area behind them with passage of arms, which is powerful and features an impressive wing effect. The job in 6.05 meta. Paladin players are largely underrepresented in Endwalker's high-end duties such as Asphodel's Savage Rays due to the lack of strength compared to other tank jobs at the moment, according to FF. What? The second time? What? Okay, due to the buff of other tank jobs, it has fallen behind in terms of efficiency. This is worded poorly because Paladin did get a buff. Now, albeit I think the buff should have been better, and I think that Warrior should get a buff, but it did get a buff. It's also relegated to the role of off-tank in general due to its strong utility for its allies. Not really anymore. Not really. It's fine to pull on Paladin. It's completely fine. The reason why it typically, like last expansion, for example, was typically the off tank is because 1, it didn't start with gauge, and 2, the most important thing, it didn't have as many cooldowns as the other tanks. But can you pull on Paladin? Absolutely. Is it fine? Absolutely. Square Enix also plans to bring them a buff in the future, so it's possible to hope the job will come back in the spotlight soon. So let's see. Okay, so the base job obviously doesn't start in Limsa. It starts in Old Doth, so they had those swapped. It does provide the most utility. It does. I will agree with that. Although it's not as extensive. Okay, well, I don't know about that. Paladin boasts off cooldown damaging abilities and numerous mitigating skills. I mean, yeah. It can also heal itself or its allies using clemency. This is true, which makes it a unique tank in the game. That's... I would say, like, I don't mean to nitpick. When you actually play the game, game. The difference between using clemency on someone and using nascent flash, it's like the same. Like if you use Aurora on somebody and Heart of Corundum, it's like the same. So like, I don't think that it makes it a unique tank anymore. I just really don't. I think that the uniqueness of it is just gone. All the tanks are the same. It's just a different skin and different damages, which is why I think all the tanks should be within no higher than 1% of each other, because all the tanks are the same fucking job. I don't know. What do you guys think about this article? I feel like that this person doesn't ever play this fucking game. And I think that a majority of their knowledge comes from outside sources. They linked FF logs twice, which I imagine they drew some of the popularity from the job. So if you take a look here, they mentioned that Warrior was the most played. Well, this has 8,900 parses. Paladin has 6,400 parses, and they mentioned that in both. They said the Paladin was the least played and Warrior was the most played. So I feel like that this article wasn't actually written by a person that plays the game. I feel like this article was written by a person that just read other stuff from other sources. That's what I feel. I feel like all they did was look at patch notes and FF logs, if I were to guess. And they tried to word it in such a way to, I guess, mask that or something. But I mean, I enjoy these articles. You know, I really do. I really enjoy these tier lists because I know it's going to be a big fat pile of steaming shit. So, you know, I think it's good, man. But I got to agree with this. Yo, Warrior being S tier? Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. That's man mode. Okay, that's man mode. That's what I fucking agree with.